It's like praising God on a stringed instrument, Psalm 150. There's a translation called The Voice. Psalm 107, it talks about erupting before the Lord eternal. We think of miracles, and miracles certainly do happen, have happened, can happen. God, again, miraculously created the universe out of nothing. The resurrection being also a great miracle that happened later in history, both ministered by God. And then we see healings and things take place even in the modern day. So God certainly does those types of things. But a healing is different than divine providence. A healing is something that happens usually instantaneously, where there's no scientific explanation. But that's different than divine providence. Divine providence is sort of this process that you go on, but it's not instantaneous. It's in accordance with science and the natural world. And why it's important, I think, to know the difference is because, especially if you're a Christian, you're needing to rely on God's providence a lot, especially when you have a dire circumstance, whatever that circumstance may be. You cry out for a miracle. For some reason, according to God's will, He doesn't minister one. So here you are, you're walking through that valley of the shadow of death, whatever it may be that you're going through, and you're going to need God every step of the way to get through that, to get restored. I've experienced that myself in my own life. I've been sober now for like 17 years, and it hasn't been easy. And again, although I believe that God can and has and does miraculously heal people that have damaged themselves through addiction and substance abuse and things like that, according to His will, He chose to not do that in my life. So I've been on this path of providence. When I got saved, you see, it was through the cross of Christ and by the gospel that is expressed in the Bible that I was saved from my sin. It was sin that was the context of all the evil I was doing upon myself and to other people, and causing others, but also myself, emotional pain. And I was an enemy of God. And I got saved pretty radically and had those divine means by which to get on that path of healing and restoration from my errant thinking and my bad behaviors and my sin and my rebellion. So He didn't instantaneously heal me of addiction right when I got saved, but He gave me the Holy Spirit and that power to get on that path. I'm stressing, or I'm having anxiety, or falling into a depressed state, or getting angry, or these types of things. I can come before God and pray that the Holy Spirit will guide me on that path to healing by His providential means. God leaving those emotional problems and scars with me and not removing them instantaneously, they make me weak. I realize that I'm weak, and that day by day I can't get by without God, without relying upon Him and His grace. So what I meant for evil upon myself by doing all those bad things before I got saved, God foreknew that they would be used for the good, because I know that I'm weak and that I'm broken. I can't do anything without Him, so I'm fully reliant upon Him. On occasion, and unfortunately, someone might backslide and they might go back to their old behavior. Or someone might have had an illness seemingly disappear or go off the scene in the x-ray or whatnot, but then come back and they think it was a miracle, and they think that miracle failed. Then they might think that God failed and that Christianity is of no avail or no use for them in their healing process. So it's just important, I think, just to know the difference. So I wanted to share that as an encouragement, just kind of know the difference between miracles and providence. Glorify God for the fact that both happen, but know that plan of providence that you're on if you're a believer, that God's going to guide you. You may be right now going through the valley of the shadow of death, but you don't have to fear any evil. God is the good shepherd. If you could be going through this detrimental type of scenario right now in your life that just seems like the end of your life, but God knows that there's going to be light at the end of that tunnel.